Hi friends, in this session we are going to explore DevOps through workshop. Myself Mohammad Riaz, I am in IT industry from last 13 years. What is DevOps? Why we have to learn DevOps? This much questions will come in your mind when you see this session. Before going to learn DevOps, we have to understand what is the concern about current methodology. What is the problem with traditional way of approach? Then why we need DevOps? To answer to all of this question, we have to understand how the current traditional software industry is working before DevOps. Because some companies adapt DevOps, but some companies still working with old pattern. Okay. So how the old pattern or traditional way of approach is, there are two kind of teams will be working. If you take any IT industry, any project, there will be a development team and other team is operational team. If you describe in layman terminology, developers will do the coding. Okay. Either it could be a Java developer or a Node.js, front end, back end, whatever developer, they will do the coding and they will give that coding to testing team. Okay. Then after that, either they will do the unit test, they do testing themselves. After that, to deploy in development environment, they do the testing in local environment. Then they will use the operational team to deployment in the production. Okay. There could be a gap between this development team and operational team. What happened in the development environment, they are developing and they are testing, but in a stage environment or SIT environment, the pre-prod or production environment, there could be a gap. Like assume the developer is very eager to work on higher version. So without knowing what kind of version it is used in production, he moved to higher version. Assume the developer is a Java developer. His production is using Java 7, but he is upgrade his system to Java 8 and start doing coding. Once everything is tested, okay, in his local system, he is giving his build to operational team. Operational teams, what they will do, they take that build. They don't know about Java and in-depth. They know only that Linux script and how we have to deploy into that server. They may be a system administrator. They know something about Tomcat or JBoss, those things. So they took the build and deploy. That time, whatever the features Java 8 has may not working in Java 7. So they are getting issues. They are telling code is not working. In this case, the developer is blaming the operation team. You're not deployed correctly because it is working in local environment. It is not working in your environment. So these things, that lot of mail chains going forth and back. So for loss, they come to identify there could be an issue with version. Okay, version incompatible issue. So these kind of small issues we can solve if the development and operation team can work together. Okay. So the definition of DevOps itself, it improves the collaboration between developers and operations team by using various automation tools. Okay, how you make sure that both are using same version, that is called Docker came into the picture. That is called virtualization and containerization. Okay, it's a container. So that same image, I will explain it when come to Docker. I'll explain what is image, what is container. Assume that it's like a box. In that box, whatever dependency we are putting all there. If the box contains Java, Tomcat, or whatever it might, we are putting, the developer is putting all the box and saving the box in some shared folder. Okay, then the operation is team is taking the same box and running that container. Okay, so in that case, so he is also storing in development environment, is also using the same box, and that test SAT environment, stage environment, production environment using same box of code. Okay, the same box is shared in everywhere. So that in this case there is no issue about version control issue, or the configuration issue, what kind of software you're using, because the development is using the same softwares, that everything put together in that container. The container is like a, assume it's like a folder. In that folder you are putting all the files, all the different files, Java file, Tomcat file, everything. Then that folder is shared across the teams. So that is called containerization. Okay, so the in this here there are various, you can see lot of tools are using. You don't have to learn about more tools, but if any category, each one of the categories having their own tool, you can choose anything. Okay. For example, if we'll start from the coding part. Okay, so there is a, we are going to learn about, okay, here we are going to learn about Git. Okay, what is Git? Git is like a version controller. So this is like a cycle, DevOps cycle. Okay, we'll come one by one. So we'll start from coding. Like if you, anybody business says that they come up with any new requirement, assume we are going to develop one shopping cart, okay, application like Amazon. So we are going to develop one shopping cart application. So they will come up the requirement. So firstly say user profile is there, shopping catalog is there, then transaction is there, the buyer is there, seller is there. So small spots are there, right? So for before that, after collecting the requirement, that you developer has to start that coding. So where he will share the code, maybe it is a big application, shopping cart is a big application, one developer cannot do everything. So multiple developer, the company hire multiple resources, so each and every developer having responsible for each and every module. So maybe one module can be shared by several developers. So the code should be well shared. Okay, the code should be one module can be developed by multiple developers. So each and every developer having dependent on other developers code, so he has to take the other developer code, and on top of that he has to develop his own code. In this case, the Git come to the picture. Git is like a version controller, SVN also one of the version controller. So we'll see what all the commands and the Git is used. Okay, so we will learn about Git. Each and every step we'll learn about Git. After that we'll learn about Maven. Okay, we'll learn about Maven. So in this session we will learn about after Maven is like a build management. Okay, so Maven will do two things. I explained about Git, the code version control tool. What is a Maven? Maven is mainly, it is used in that Java development project. It's a backbone of Maven is like a POM file. Okay, that project object model. Okay, that is called a POM file. The POM file will, it will do the two things. How, what are the dependency, if you run one application, what are the dependency required, and how we are going to build. So we'll build the jar file or war file, because executable file. Then what are the dependencies required? For example, if you want to create a Spring Boot starter project, so Spring Boot starter project will give inbuilt, it will be like a web is required, or what kind of database is required. It's like a inbuilt H2 database or MySQL database, and what all the log configuration, log4j or SL4j. Then what kind of server you are going to use. You are going to use like a view, you are going to use JSP, or theme leaf. So those kind of if you mention it's like XML configuration, if you mention everything, automatically the Maven will build and it will give to you. Okay, so we will learn about Maven. Then we will learn about after that, once you get that code, we'll build the code, then we are going to give the code to the testing, right? So testing we can do, for unit testing we can do by using JUnit. Okay, we can do by using JUnit. Also we can do by unit testing will be done by JUnit. Then that if your web application, by using Selenium WebDriver, we can do the automation of the end-to-end application. We'll learn about Selenium in this session. Then once you get the code, and we'll develop the code and we'll test the code. After test the code, you have to deploy. Okay, so the deploy in the sense we will pack all the code into one container. We'll deploy in the Docker hub. From the Docker hub, they will take the code, and the operation team will take the code and launch that code in the other environment like a stage and a SAT environment. So we will learn about the Docker. Then we learn about the release management. So it's like a Jenkins is like a automation tool. We learn about CD and CI pipelines. Okay, continuous deployment and continuous integration. Those things are all. If you are developing day-to-day basis, you are developing something new things, small functionality. Okay, so like a agile methodology. In the agile, in the waterfall model, what happened, one module comes, the people will develop up to 3 months. Okay, then only it will went to business can see what you have developed. Okay, but at the end of the 3 month, if the business thought that we told something, you have developed something is totally wrong, means that 3 month work is lost, right? To avoid that agile scrum came to the picture. What is agile means, we will divide that module to small tasks like a stories. Each stories contain maximum 2 weeks. In the 2 weeks we will develop something and we will deploy, and business can verify what is expected, what you have developed, everything is correct. If it is not correct, they can change it. Okay, so instead of in this 2 weeks of sprint, that the local testing team can test in day-to-day basis. Once you develop, immediately deploy into the server. So that immediate deployment will come to the picture by using Jenkins. Okay, Jenkins, what you'll do, we'll write the script, Groovy script. So once you commit your code in the Git, automatically Jenkins will take the code and deploy into the server. Okay, we'll learn about Jenkins. Then how the build management, the Kubernetes, the one, once you, for example, the flow is like this. So you take the code from that Git, and you build the code in the by using Maven, and you have tested by using JUnit and Selenium. Then you are pushing your code into Docker hub via through manual or via automation. By using Jenkins, we are push your code. After putting the code, we have to deploy the code into the server. So the deployment and orchestration work can be done by Kubernetes. Kubernetes is also one of the tool. We will create the multiple instance of the Docker images, and it will run in multiple nodes. Then it will manage, if one node goes down, then another node will take care. So it will maintain like a 0% downtime. Okay, so other stuffs are like a Splunk is used for a logging purpose. So in this session we will learn about these things. So I have divided this session into two parts. Okay, I have divided this session into two parts. First part, we have learned about what is DevOps, and we will learn about what is Git. Okay, we'll learn about Docker. Then we'll look about the Maven in detail, about Maven, creating this Spring Boot project, about the Maven. Okay, the Spring Boot, we will create one sample Spring Boot uh, project by using Maven in the second part 2. So the part 2 will cover Jenkins, Selenium, Kubernetes, and we will create the project by covering the end-to-end DevOps methodology. We will create the code, a simple code by using Spring Boot as well as Angular. We will keep as a Spring Boot as a backend and Angular as a front end. We'll develop the code and we will deploy the code we'll create the Docker images by using the Jenkins. Then we'll deploy the code into the Kubernetes by using the Openshift tool. So we'll do the end-to-end projects. Okay. So next thing is come to the part one part. Okay. So now we look about Git. What is Git? Git is like a version control system for tracking the changes. Okay, the multiple developers are there. They want to share their code. They want to. There are dependencies are there. So one person is working on the login module. One person is working on registration module. So the login will work based on the registration, because once the user register their profile, that will go and saved in the DB. From that DB only we can validate one. So these things and all will dependent. Okay, so what happened, the developer one is developing the registration module, then once he complete, he put the code in the Git, then the second developer will take simultaneously is working on that login module. Once he completed for testing, he'll take the code from that developer one code from the same Git repository. He will do continue this work. Okay, so we'll check about what is in Git version control. For that, I will create a simple hello world project in my local system. From that, we are going to move the code into the GitHub. Okay, so first we learn about GitHub. What is GitHub? Yeah, GitHub is a repository. It will contain all your code. This is you can create your own GitHub account. Go to the github.com and create your own profile. The GitHub homepage will come like this. So in that GitHub, you can create a new project by clicking the new button. Then you can create new project. Okay, so I'll come to next. After creating the local project in my system, I'll open STS. In that STS, I'm going to create a new Java project. Okay, so new Java project, I'm going to create one sample hello world program. In that hello world, we are going to move that program into the GitHub by using some commands. Okay, so project name is like my hello world. Okay, I'm clicking finish. If you go to hello world, I'm creating one package. Com. In that, I'll create new class. I'll name as a hello world. If you finish, so this is my hello world project. In that hello world simple program, I'm going to print one simple statement. Okay, so here I'll create one main method. Then I'll put one sysout. Okay, so now I'm going to run this. Okay, so this is my simple. So I want to save this program into the GitHub. How we can do? The before that you have to create one repository in the GitHub. So I will create one repository called hello world. Okay, so you have to give your name will come first, and by followed by the repository name. In the repository name you can give description, then description is okay. So it will check whether already duplication is there. If not duplicate, it will put tick. Then your create repository will get enabled, then create repository. So once the repository got created, we have to use some commands. This is my repository got created. It will give your execute the following commands in your local to move your code into the GitHub. First is readme file. Readme file is will tell about what is about the project. It's like a description, okay, about the project. Then we are going to initialize. What is the init command means? It will initialize your project into the Git. Okay, it is the initialization. Then we are going to add. We have created readme file. We are going to add readme file. Then the commit. We are going to commit the code. The commit means -m is message. So we have to give that valid message so that other developer can understand why you are committing this code, what is the intention of this code, or what it will do. So give the proper description. Then the remote. So from your local, you are going to move your code into the remote. So remote add origin means this one master path. Then you have to give your URL of this your git. Then you can push your code. Okay, this is the one. So we will learn about git commands. For init, first we are going to learn about init. Okay, so now I'm come to my coding part. Here I will open my terminal. So in local terminal, okay, so here I'm going to this have everything is there. I'm going to initialize whatever command is there. Yeah, I came to command prompt. That command prompt I'm going to use git init. So what it will do, it will initialize your git repository in the local. So it will write like a local repository and remote repository. So every day what you can do, you can create your own local repository. You can keep all your code. Okay, if I put git status, so it will give what all the files you are going to commit. So this much files you have to go into commit from the remote. So we'll follow these steps. So first it will give git, and we'll create one readme file. Okay, then we are going to add that readme file. Before adding, you can go and edit that readme file. So what is that readme file has? I'll explain what is a git ignore. Okay, so what is a git ignore is there some files you don't have to save in the git repository, like a dot class file, target dot project. This is like a runtime it get created. So when you execute your code, that time it will get created. So we don't have to save these kind of file. What all the files you don't want to save into the repository, you can mention those files into the git ignore, so that this file will get ignored. It won't get it will not display when you go git status. Okay, for example, if I go here, I am going to source file. If I put get this git status, so this will get displayed. We have added this readme file. Okay, I will explain readme file first. So in this readme file, it will explain about what is about your project. You can mention this is simple hello world project. Okay. Okay, here you can see the dot class files is there. Okay, if you go to here bin folder, cd dot class files is there. If you mention git status, so dot class file won't get displayed. If you remove the dot class file from the git ignore, the dot class file will get displayed here. So I'm navigating to my parent folder. So whatever folders are there, that will get ignored. Now I'm going to add git status. I'm going to add git dot means it will add everything. Okay, git add dot. If we check git status, so all three files are get added. Okay, now we are going to commit. So I'm going to execute git commit -m. So here you are going to give your description, hello world initial files. Okay, if you commit that file, it will get saved in your local repository. It won't get moved into the your remote repository. To move into the remote repository, you have to execute this line, git remote. Okay, now I refresh this page, it will look like the same thing only. There is no difference. Okay, once you push your code, let's see how it look like. I'm going to add my code into the git remote. So then I'm going to push my code. So now I'm pushing my code. It is asking to username password. You can give my username. You have to give mail IDs. Okay, now I push my code, git push -u origin master. So I gave the correct credentials. Now the code got moved to the master branch. So now if you come here, if you refresh, now you can see the code. Okay, so this is a simple hello world project. So what all the commits we have done, 3 minutes ago. So if any developer want, they can clone the code by using git clone code, git clone. They can clone the entire code by using this URL. They can use that SSH or they can use HTTPS. Okay, by using anything, they can take the code. So this is like all about git. For now, we are going to look about what are the various other git commands. Okay, we have learned init and git status and git branch. Git branch means, for example, in that big projects, what they'll do, they will create separate branches. So for example, for one module there are one branch will be there, for other module different branch will be there. So because it's the independent modules are there, the different team will create their own branches. Once it is working, everything is working fine, finally they will commit the code into that master branch. But in this case I have only one branch, so you can create the branch from here. You can create a multiple branches, but I have only one branch. For example, if you give git branch, it will give the master branch name. Okay, git branch command will give what the branch, what all the branches are there, what currently which branch you are working. So next command is git add. You already learned how to add that one. We know that git add is like used to git add dot we put now, so that all the files will get added into that your repository. Git commit we have learned. Git remote means we are removing our code into that repository. Git push, git checkout means if any developer is doing their code, you want to get the latest code, you can use git checkout. Okay, this is all about git. Now we'll move to next part. Okay, so what we have done, we will create our local project in your system, then we'll move to the git. From the git we'll create one repository. In that git repository we'll create one readme file, then we'll come to our project. We'll initialize using git init command. Git init command we have initialized. By using git init command we have initialized, then we have added all your classes by using git add command. Git add dot we have added all the commands, all the files by using this command. Finally we will commit our code, then we will move our code to push our code to remote. Okay, so you should see what are the commands you have executed. You can use git log. Git log will tell what are the things you have committed. So only one commit I have done. For example, I have one change. Okay, I'm going to change my code to print, instead of printing welcome to DevOps, I want to print number 1 to 10. Okay, what I will do, so by using this line number 9, I'm going to print the numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, so here I'm running my application. Here it is printing 1 to 10. Okay, so I want to add this code, this piece of code also into that git repository. So how I can add, for if you go to here, if you go to git com hello world.java. Okay, so here the code doesn't have that printing 1 to 10. Okay, so to do that, what we'll do, we'll check git status. So git status will check what code is modified. So here this code is modified, so I'm going to add git add, then this file name you have to give source com. Okay, then git commit -m printing the numbers. Okay, so valid description should be there, then git push origin master. So this will push your all your code into the your remote repository. Okay, so one you can see that completed with one local object, so it is got push the code got moved to here. If I refresh my code, okay, see, so this code came. So here if you go to the history, you can see with commit description and what is how many what time it is, a 38 seconds ago, it's 9 minutes ago. Okay, if you want to take only this code, you can use by using this thing, you can take. Okay, if you want to take latest code also, you can take by using this thing. Okay, this is containing only this much code. You can take it. Okay. Next is pull requests. Pull request means if one developer is there, he is doing develop something, but he want to get reviewed by his manager. What he can do, he can create his own branch, then he can raise a pull request so that manager can review and approve and merge. So merge means it will get merged into that your master branch. Okay, so here on I am the only one developer, so I'm not going to raise any pull request. So this is the all about the basic concept about Git. Now next we are going to move about learn about Maven. Okay. Now I'm going to create simple Spring Boot application. Okay. So for that, what we have to do? File, new, Spring Starter project. Okay. Spring Boot will come with a starter project so that you can create it will give all the dependencies, so that will come from start.spring.io. So I will give my project as a UMS. I will give as a user, some user management project. Okay, so code connect.user version 1.0, then user management system. It will have user ID and name. It will give display only user ID and user name. Then code.connect user. Okay, this is a package name. Got it? So take your laptop and you can create parallelly. Go to the file and create new Spring Starter project. The URL, don't change the URL. It says start.spring.io. Then give the name whatever you want. Then this is a group name. So Maven will have group ID, artifact ID, and version. These three things are important. Group means is a package. It's like a folder. What is a folder name? Okay. Artifact means file name. So finally the jar will get created with this name only, user 1.0.jar. Okay, the version, what is the name? So group means you can create multiple artifacts under one group. Okay, so that it will avoid the duplication. Then version description you can give. This is a package. You are going to by default what package you have to create. Okay, so next I'm click next. So here inbuilt whatever things welcome. So Spring is like a very powerful framework. You don't have to worry about the different jar file. You have to mention what you want. Automatically it will deploy everything. I will explain how it works. So I'm going to create a simple web project. So I will select web, Spring Web. That's all. Okay, so next is next only web. Okay, I'm not going to use any database. I'm just going to explain the Maven, how the Maven works. So I have created Spring Web, then I'm clicking next, then the description, finish. So once you click finish, you can see that it is downloading all the jar file. If you look here, so that it is creating your Maven project and downloading all the jar file. Initially it will take some seconds. Once it get downloaded, we have to go through POM file. What is a POM file and how it works? Then we will create one controller. Then we are going to test that. You can see here the Maven dependencies are getting updated. So it is getting downloaded from the Maven repository. So this, you can see that Maven repository, it will get downloaded from this repository. So you have to configure in, once you download the Maven. Okay, so I will tell you how you can download the Maven. If you you go to Google and just type download Maven. So this will take you to maven.apache.org. Okay, here just click and from that you download, so automatically it will get created. So in that one we have like a settings.xml. Settings.xml will give you, by default it will go point to Maven repository. Don't change anything, just go as it is. Yeah, if you click on the download, okay, so JDK 1.7 is minimum requirement, so select based on what's your system. It's loan said take the binary file and Maven 3.9 and unzip it, then install it. Okay, so then add this Maven into your build path. Okay. So after that, once you installed, okay, here our project got created. If you come here, the user is get created. In the user, you can see pom.xml. So that is the backbone of our Spring Boot application. If you look here, pom.xml, it will have all the dependencies file, all the configuration, everything will be there in pom.application, pom.xml. Okay, you can see. Okay, so here in this XML, you can see the project is the root element. It will give what is that XML your template it used. So the model version is 4.0. The parent tag is the main one. It will give from the which project, what is the base project you have created. So we have created from Spring Boot starter project. So it will be parent. The group ID we configured code.connect is my package name. In that group ID name, the artifact I have give user. So what is the name of that one? POM file and description. So the properties you can mention, all the properties you can mention here. So I'm using Java 8, so I'm mentioning Java version ID. What all the properties you can mention here, and by using dollar symbol you can use anywhere in this file. Okay, so the common properties will come here. The POM expansion is project object model. So this is a very important thing. The dependencies, if you look here, if you want any dependency, you can add inside the dependencies and build is the very main thing. So if you go to dependencies, so it is my web project. I have mentioned Spring Boot starter web. Okay, so now or for JUnit, what is the things is going to have to get excluded. It will come in exclusion part. The plugins, this is the plugin it is used going to build. So dependencies, what are the dependencies you get downloaded while doing build, it will get executed. If you go to target, nothing is there. To create the build, you have to run the command like Maven clean install. Okay, so I will go to terminal. In the terminal, I'll mention mvn clean. Okay, clean means what happened, it will in the target directory, the finally the executable jar file will get created inside the target folder. If you want to clean anything, it will get deleted everything, it will clean your target folder. Then if you going to run install means it will create the build and it will deploy into your local repository. That when you install your Maven, it will create .m2 folder inside your user directory. In that it will get these things like under that code connect folder, it will get deployed. If you look here, Maven clean install, so this will create the .jar file, it will going to deploy inside your target folder. So it is getting executed. So the Spring Boot, when you talk about the DevOps and Docker, those things, one thing you have to understand about microservices also. The traditional programming way, and we have designed our project in monolithic way. Monolithic means single stone. Okay, so we will put all our code into a single package, and we deploy as a single application in a single server. Everything go as a single. Okay, that is called monolithic. But what happened the microservices? Why what is the disadvantage of monolithic means? For example, for example, if you take Amazon, we have user profile, one module is there, product catalog is module is there, buyer one module, getter one module. If you club everything, put a deploy as a single module, if you any single modification is required, you have to down, the system has to get downtime is more. We have to stop the entire application, so that entire shopping cart application will be down only for small modification. We want to add one field in the user registration form, like maybe a country or city something, but entire application will get down. Then you have to redeploy, retest everything. To avoid that, microservices came to the picture. Microservices, what it will do, it will split your split your application to small modules. Each and every module get deployed into the dedicated servers, like dedicated container. So it will create like a independent modules. Okay, in one module another module there is no dependency. They will talk to each other by using REST API. Okay, so that is the thing. So now come to that our Maven build. So I don't have any test cases, so there is no test cases, and it is going to build our jar file, executable jar file. So this is so the building jar will be get saved in under, if you look here inside target folder, it says that the user 1.0 jar will get saved inside target folder. Okay, so the build got success. If you refresh my project, so you can see inside target there is a user 1.0 dot jar is there. So this is the executable jar. This will get deployed. So the Maven clean install means, clean means what happened, it will delete entire the target folder. If I do Maven clean, so what it will do, it will delete everything from the target folder. If I do Maven build or Maven install, Maven build means only the jar file will get created. Maven install means it will get deployed your jar file into your local repository. So here, see the target folder, all the content inside the target folder will get deleted. If I go refresh, the target folder doesn't have anything. Okay, now I can do. Okay, so Maven package, what it will do, it will create the jar file again. Okay, once clean means it will destroy all the content inside the target folder. Maven package means will create the jar file, everything again. The difference between Maven install and Maven package is, the Maven install, what it will do, it will create that required files, but it will deploy in your local repository, Maven install. But Maven package is only, it will create your executable file. So that is a war file or jar file, whatever it may be, it will create your file. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can execute Maven help command, it will help you. That thing. So now we are going to create one controller, Spring Boot, and we are going to access by using REST API. Okay, so now I'm going to create one controller. So this is a user. If you look on this user application.java, this is a main application with a Spring Boot. Spring Boot will launch this application. Okay, so the Spring Boot application is an annotation. That is the one, the entry point of our Spring Boot application. This will run our applications. Okay, now I'm going to create one controller, new class user dot controller. I'm putting a user controller. Okay, so here I'm using annotation controller. Okay, now I'm going to create one method, public string welcome. Okay, I'm adding one request mapping. Return. Welcome to Spring Boot. So okay, so now if I go into a simple, if you want to run this application, simple right click, run as Spring Boot app. Okay, so it will run as a Spring Boot application. We'll see. So after this, we will go and look about the Docker. So you can see the Spring Boot application is launched. So internally it is using Tomcat embed server. It is using 8080 port. If you want to change the port, you can go and configure in that application.properties server.port equal to whatever port you want, you can mention. So the Spring Boot application launch in 11 seconds. So if you want to access, you go to browser. There is one correction. So instead of controller, we have to use REST controller because we are using REST API. So I mentioned this user controller as a REST controller, and I mentioned that request mapping as anything, whatever request comes, we are going to print welcome to Spring Boot world. Okay, so if you going to refresh this, you will get, so localhost 8080 will get welcome to Spring Boot world. So if you want to change that port number, simply will go and there is a resource folder. We have application.properties. In that one, we'll go service.port equal to server dot port equal to 8085. If I give 8085, when I relaunch this application, you can see Tomcat is running in 8085. Okay, so here 8085 it is running. If you go to 8080 old port, if you run, okay, it will say that the site cannot be reached because we changed the port. So that is the power of Spring Boot. It's like auto configurable. They don't have to do much more work. Everything we have to be configurable in Spring application.properties files. Okay, so you can change whatever you want in the application. All the DB configuration, it will go inside that one. I will take another session how we are going to interact with a Spring JPA, then by using MySQL database, and I will also will take one more session on AngularJS, how we can interact Spring Boot application with AngularJS and MySQL database. We'll create one mini project at the end of this session. So that's all about the Maven. So next we'll go to Docker. Okay, so we have completed. So to recap whatever we have learned, I will close this. I'll stop. Okay. Okay, so we have learned initially, we have discussed about what is a DevOps. Then we learn Git and Git commands. Then we learn about Maven, what is Maven and Maven commands. Then you explore more yourself. So you go and Google what is more about Maven, how we install and how to configure. So if you take those things and all, that session will get extend. So it will go beyond 2 hours. So I'll try to complete within 2 hours all the sessions. So we'll learn about Git and we'll learn about Maven. Next we are going to Docker. Okay, so before moving to Docker, I want to clarify some commands, Maven commands. You understood what is a clean command. Delete the directory. Validate means that it will validate your project, whether the files and structure, everything is correct. The compile means it will compile your source code, and classes stored in target directory. Test means it you execute your test cases. Package I told, it will compile, it will give an executable jar file. And verify means it's same, it's like a quality criteria. If you mention anything, it will validate. Install means it will put your executable jar file inside your local repository. Deploy means if you mention that remote repository, it will move your code final package into the remote repository. Then you can skip the test case by using skip test equal to true, and maven dot skip equal to true. The difference between is, first one, skip dot test equal to true means it will compile the test cases but skip the running the test cases. But maven dot test dot skip equal to true means the entire compiling itself will get skipped. Okay, now we'll move to Docker. Okay, so I discuss about the microservices. Microservices is way it is a way to break our application into small modules, and it will run as a standalone application. It is independent application that can be run on any different server instance. Okay, so it's like a, we have all modules deploy into one server as a one package. Will deploy into small modules, and we can easily deploy in different instances. The advantages is, if any new developer is coming, he want to work only on user profile module, he will take the user profile module code, he will understand, he will deploy his code. Instead of he'll take entire code and analyzing the entire code, he'll take his module and it will understand, it will start coding on his own. So one advantage. Second thing is maintainability. So if you want to change any piece of code, simply you can down the server and change it, and you can deploy easily. Second thing is, if any new technology is coming, for example Python is coming, so some of your module related to machine learning, you want to implement Python, that particular module only you can change the technology from Java to Python easily. So but it is a monolithic application, means if you are putting all together in single instance, so changing is very difficult. So a lot of advantages are there. So I will take one more entire session, it will take another 2 hours to explain microservice itself. That is a big architecture change, that is like a transformation of that IT industry from monolithic to microservices. In between, after monolithic, the service oriented architecture came, which means all the components are talking with each other with services like a rest or soap services. But at the end of the day, we'll club all together and you have to deploy in single instance only, maybe a Tomcat server or something. Maybe you can have load balancer, but the deployment is as a single package. So that's why microservices came. So it will each and every module as independent with each other, there is no dependency. The now we are not going to talk more about microservices. Now we'll jump into the Docker. As you told, Docker is like a containerization and virtualization. Okay, so for example, if you're going to develop your application in that uh, Ubuntu OS, so you don't have to create a virtual machine. Only you take the image from the Ubuntu image, and you can develop your code on top of that. Then you can install your Tomcat instance on that one. You can run your application. Okay, so that is like a container. So container is in the sense, whatever dependent application you want, dependent software, put all together into a one container and give as a single package. Like for example, you will have one folder. In that folder, you are putting all your software, Tomcat and Ubuntu and Java, everything you are putting into that folder, and zip that folder and give it to that all the teams across the team. Give the zip file. Use that zip file. You launch that application like that. You are giving different teams into that applications, that folder. So that is like a containerization put all together. So the theoretical part you can learn. We'll jump into the practical, what all the Docker commands and how we are going to execute. There are two ways we can test our Docker commands. So for learning purpose, use a Docker playground, one website link is there. You can go and we can run our Docker commands. For to Docker install, to from that official website you can install the Docker. But the Docker required Windows Enterprise Edition or Windows Pro Edition. Some of the users doesn't have that my edition, so you have to upgrade. Instead of that, for learning purpose, you can go and you can learn yourself in this website, play dot play with Docker. Okay, labs dot play hyphen with docker.com. In that website you can run your Docker commands easily. So before that I will explain what is Docker Hub. So Docker Hub like is like a GitHub. So how we are creating, we are pushing our own code into the GitHub like that. Docker Hub having different images. Images is like a package. I told you, one package have everything. So one image having Ubuntu. If you want to develop your application in Ubuntu operating system, you can take the Ubuntu package. You want MySQL, you can take MySQL package. You want to develop your code in Node.js, you can take Node.js images. Like the different images are there. So you can create your own repository. Okay, I have, you can first, you have to go and create and go to hub.docker.com and create your user account. So remember that username, so that we are going to use that username in our practical sessions. Okay, so first step is go to the dockerhub.com and create your, go to that hub.docker.com and register yourself. Okay, so I have already registered. You can register. So this is a Docker Hub web page. So here lot of images are there: Couchbase, Ubuntu, Postgres, MySQL, registry. So people, you can push your own image also. Okay, so you can create your own repository. How we have created our own repository in GitHub, like that I have created your own repository. So my repository is, I have created my repository. I have created my account, and I will tell you how we are going to push our code into the repository. So come to this, there is nothing is there. I have deleted all my repositories for so that I can create again for you for understanding. Okay, so this is like a labs.playwithdocker.com is the website. So that without installing Docker, it will, in your system you can run some of the Docker commands. Almost all the commands you can run here. So first, add new instance. Okay, so this will create a new instance. So in this page only we are going to play. Okay, first you are going to Docker login. First login yourself, Docker login. So your username, my username I'm giving jmriaz84, then password. Okay, once login succeed. Okay, I give my GitHub password. Okay, so now login is succeed. So I'm going to clear. Okay, first command. So we'll test what all the one by one commands. So this is a life cycle of the Docker. So what we are going to do, we will take one Ubuntu image from the Docker Hub. We'll pull it. Then we'll create our own images. We are going to install Tomcat in our images. We have to run our Tomcat application. Then we will push our images into a Docker Hub. Okay, this is what we are going to do. Go. So we'll execute these commands one by one. So Docker version. So to know the what is the current version of your Docker software, you can Docker tool. You can go in Docker version. We'll give what is the Docker version. Next is we are going to pull one Ubuntu image. Okay, from the Docker Hub. That the command is to take your laptop handy and parallelly you can execute that command. Okay, Docker pull Ubuntu. Okay, so this will take entire virtual operating system, Ubuntu operating system. Okay, so once you take that Ubuntu, so you can see that image, what all the images is there in your system. I will take image. So assume image is like a one virtual container. Okay, that will have all the thing. Okay, that will list like a one container, one folder. Assume image is like a one folder that will have all the dependent software inside that. Okay, so I will check what all the images is there. So I took the Ubuntu image from my hub. So that is what it is displayed here now. Docker images, so Ubuntu is there. Now I'm going to run that images. Okay, you can change the, by default it will run in 80 port. You can change to whatever port you want. Okay, so now Docker run. I'm not going to give the port now because port will usually will come when you run Tomcat application. I'm not giving the port number, but this is a syntax. My -p what port you can change. By default 80 is there. You can change the port name, but image name I am giving, and image name is Ubuntu. Okay, so this is the image. Then it will, once you run the image, it will create one container ID. This is called F5. It is called container ID. Okay, to check what all the containers it is running, you can use Docker ps command. So this is the container ID. It is running, the one container is running, so from the Ubuntu image. Okay, so image means I took that application, I am running that application by using docker run command, then it will create that container ID. Okay, this is the stuff. Next is I'm going to execute the container. So assume I went inside the Ubuntu operating system, so we have to go inside that operating system, inside a virtual machine. Then we can install whatever we want. Okay, so now I'm going to execute that container. Okay, docker execute my one it means interactive. Okay, so we are going to give the command interactive mode, then we have to give the docker command ID. Docker ps docker execute -it. Because why I'm explaining from playground means some of the friends doesn't have that Windows enterprise edition, maybe home edition they have, they cannot install the docker in their system, so you can use that playground. This container bash means current terminal. What terminal you are going to run this application? I'm using my current terminal, so I'm giving bash. So you can see root is the current user and folder, then the directory, then what is the container. So you can see this is like a virtual machine. So inside that the docker command won't work. If you go inside that, if you go run the docker version, it won't work because docker is not installed inside my virtual machine. So I'm going to run apt update, apt get update command, so that it will get update your virtual machine. Okay, so it will get update. So now I'm going to run this apt install time zone data, so that when you install Tomcat, it won't ask the time zone regulated stuff. So I'm going to install the time zone data stuff. Living in Dubai, so I gave Dubai. So now I'm going to install Apache 2. So I'm going to install Apache 2 server. So yes. Okay, I'll provide everything in the description. You can get it, these commands. So next, what is the status? So I'm going to start. Now we are going to start Apache server. Okay, service Apache 2 dot start. Okay, now Apache server is started. If you want to see the status, you can see status. So Apache server is started. So we didn't give that port. That's why it is not visible. once you've done all this, so we have installed that Apache Tomcat server and we have started, and we can stop that server by using service stop. Okay, so now the status of that server is not running. Okay, so now whatever you have done, so you want to commit, then you want to push. Okay, so this commit means like saying git commit. You are going to save your locally your core stuff, then you can push into your GitHub. Now I'm going to come exit of this virtual host. Okay, now I'm going to Docker images. What are the images I have? Ubuntu images. How I can create my own image? So Docker commit container ID, run my container, Docker commit, my container ID is this. So I have installed Apache, so that I'm telling that image name. So usually the naming format is you have to give your username slash what is this, just like a Apache -1. Okay, I'm giving Apache -1 as a image name. I'm committing this. After committing, you can push it. So git and Docker push image name. So what is the image? So you have created image name. This is your image name. So to confirm, you can take Docker images. Okay, so I have created jmriaz84 Apache 1 as image. So I am going to push that image. Docker push image name. See, it is going to move that code into your Docker Hub. So the size is 208 MB. Okay, but Ubuntu is only 73 MB. So if you look on that actual Ubuntu operating system, it is going more nearly 1.5 or 2 GB. But here, what is only 73 MB? Only that required libraries only it will be there in this image. So Ubuntu 73 MB, you can get it operating system itself. It is amazing. So that is the power of Docker. So in that we have got Ubuntu operating system in 73 MB. Then on top of that we have installed Apache server. Then totally it will come in 208 MB. So if you go to Docker Hub, you can see this image is Docker Hub. So the image jmriaz84 Apache 1, it is got moved. Okay, so this is few minutes ago. So if you want, anybody want to get this one, you can get pull this image name, they can give and they can pull it. Okay, if on the second time if you want to push, you can give the tag number, so that it will be differentiate will be there. Now we are going to learn about, so we learn how to take the image from the Docker Hub, then how to run it and how to go execute it, and how we can install the Apache inside that, and how we can commit and how we can push. Now we are going to learn, next we are going to learn about Docker file. Okay, so this commands we are running like taking the Ubuntu and running a Tomcat instance is good, doing one by one manually. Instead of that, in production, if you go to production environment, nobody won't going to execute this single command one by one. Maybe it is a time consumption as well as a manual error can happen. To avoid that, Docker is provide one more feature like Docker file. In that Docker file, you can place all your commands, and like when executing the Docker file itself, it will run your all your commands one by one, and it will create your build. Okay, so Docker file contains the command to assemble the images, and it will build that your Docker image automatically. Okay, so this is example of Docker. Whatever we have done, I will create via using Docker file. Okay, I will create by using Docker file, the same command I will put it in Docker file, then I will execute it. So after this we can complete that part 1 session. Then I will open one more session part 2. From that we'll learn about other stuff. Okay, so first this, now I'm going to create one folder called mkdirect docker folder. So you can put docker. Okay, I'll create one dockers folder. Inside the dockers folder I'm going to create one docker file, so that is touch. You can create any your name, any folder name, but docker file name should be same thing, capital D then small f, docker file. So name should be same, so that only docker, when you create the build, that docker will identify the which file we have to go into execute. So I have created one file. So if you go to ls, you can see docker file is there inside dockers folder. I'm going to edit that docker file. Okay, so I, to save the time, I already have the comment, so I'll copy paste. Same thing. So here I will explain what is this. From means what? From Ubuntu. It will take the image from the Ubuntu. Then it will going to update whatever thing, apd update that Ubuntu operating system. Then you install time zone data, then install Apache 2 server. Then whatever things are there in your current folder, it will move to the var www.html. Okay, before then the entry point is like, entry point is the one which will execute the command. Okay, instead of manually we are going to run that install command, tomcat start and stop, this Apache CTL will run automatically. Okay, so this is the one I'm going to save this. Okay, so it has docker file. Now for testing purpose I'm going to create one small HTML file. So touch home.html, then vi home.html. So in that HTML file I'm going to put small welcome to Docker world on tag. Okay, I'm going to save it. So what I have done, I have created one Docker folder. Inside the Docker folder I have created two files. One is a Docker file and docker home.html. The Docker file contains the following commands. The from means from Ubuntu, we are taking the Ubuntu image and running the following commands: apd get update, apd install for time zone data, and apd install of Apache. Then we are moving all the content from current folder to where www and html. In this case the home.html move to that corresponding folder to run our Apache server. Then the entry point, we are giving what is the entry point. Okay, so next we have to build the Docker. Okay, the kind of syntax is docker build dot means current folder, then minus t, then what is the image name. Okay, you can give your own image name. I'm going to use docker build dot minus t terminal. Okay, image. So I'm in this case I'm going to give image name as a jmrias Apache with docker file. Okay, so now I have executed this command. So you can see this one, there are 6 steps are there. So first is Ubuntu is taking, then apd install is happening. The steps 3 is time zone data, then after that it is installing tomcat instance. So it is not asking anything option to me, automatically it is installing. So that's why we give that Apache CTL. So automatically all the stuff whatever we have done manually, it is running automatically now. Okay, now build happened, successfully built has done. Okay, the successfully tag jmrias Apache docker file latest. Okay, so now we are going to run it. Okay, now docker run minus interactive mode, then minus d is a daemon. Okay, it is running in background. Now we are going to port mapping. This is important. P, I am going to give port number 82 instead of 80. Mapping a default 82 into 82 port. Then 84 82 whatever it can give, I'm giving 82 here. Then image name, now I'm giving image name jmrias 84 slash Apache docker file. This is the image it got created. Docker file. It is you have to give latest. First we'll check what is the image is there. Docker images. Okay. That's right. Okay, so now it is running Docker run my iPhone IT -d port 84 to 80. Then I have given image name. So you can see 84. So I give 84 port number. 84 is open. If I open this, so my Apache server is getting displayed. If I want to see home.html, you can see welcome to Docker Vault. So what happened, it will move all my files into that where www.html folder, then it is running our Apache server. If you go, you can see what happened to this. We can execute docker ps, then docker execute it running container id. So this is running container id. Because I'm going and see what happened inside my virtual machine. Container id bash. Okay, so here if you see ls, you can see var tap html ls. You can see docker file is there, home is there, index.html there. Index.html is the default Ubuntu Apache server page. We have home.html and our docker file. So in the docker file we mention, okay, in the docker file we mentioned copy the entire content from to where html folder. That's why it maintain move our home.html page. Okay, so this is about docker. So you can explore more about docker by googling and by exploring. Okay, this is done. Now next part is, okay, so part session got completed. So we learned DevOps, Git, Maven, Docker, microservices. We just go through. So part two session, we are going to learn about Jenkins and what is Selenium, what is automation testing, and what is a Kubernetes and Openshift. Then how we are going to create a mini project. So I'm going to create one mini project by using Spring Boot, REST API and Spring JPA and AngularJs on front end. Then we are going to deploy by using Jenkins pipeline into Kubernetes using OpenShift tool. Then that's all. Thank you for watching. So you can share your comments, you can like.